Hello, writers. We have been working so hard on engaging in the writing process for opinion and persuasive writing. Now, we've been spending a lot of time in that free writing stage, and recently I've asked you to select an idea that you really want to focus on and work on building a well-structured essay about. We did some free writing and started gathering some ideas. So today I'm going to talk about how we can take those ideas that we've started working with and organize them into a well-structured essay. I'm so proud of all the work you're doing. Writing opinion and persuasive writing is a super mature genre, and it does take a lot of work. The important thing is that we structure information in a format that makes sense. This is a great step on your rubric for making sure that your work is organized. So what we're going to do today is kind of write out loud and kind of talk about how we could write an essay about a topic that we've all maybe read an essay about before, or a topic we can relate to. So when you are beginning to structure your essay, there's a certain way that it tends to go. You start with a thesis. That's your big idea. That's the topic of your essay. Another way you can describe that is by saying it's a claim, okay? So you have a big claim on top, and then you have some supporting evidence, some supporting details. This is starting to sound a little bit like the boxes and bullets, right? If you go in your case it, you're going to find your boxes and bullets packet. And inside of that packet, you'll see right here an example of that general frame. Here's that box, my thesis or claim. And here are those bullets, my evidence and my supports. We're going to talk about how we should organize this using that boxes and bullet structure. So let's talk about our claim. I'm going to use a claim. I love ice cream. If you recall a while ago when we began this unit, we read a lot of essays that cover this topic of I love ice cream. Here's my thesis. So now as a writer, it's my job to figure out, well, what are those big reasons why I love ice cream? What are some supports that I can use as evidence to say why I love ice cream? So I'm thinking out loud here, and I'm thinking and wondering, why do I like ice cream? And I think, oh, I love all the different flavors of ice cream. I could go on and on about all the different flavors of ice cream there are. Thinking out loud again, and maybe possibly looking at my notebook at some of my ideas, I'm wondering, well, what's another big overarching topic underneath I love ice cream? I love the different flavors. Oh, and I love the toppings. So my second piece of evidence is all the toppings. So notice how I'm building my tree out here as I plan. My claim is the trunk that supports all of these ideas that are coming out as branches. I also really love how refreshing ice cream is on a hot day. So now I have my three main topics. I have my box and bullets. If you're looking to connect this to our organizer that you have in your case it, right? My box right here is I love ice cream, and here's my three reasons. All of the flavors, all of the toppings, and how refreshing it is on a hot day. Now, here's where a lot more of the work comes in. My next step is that I'm going to work on planning some stories, or maybe making some lists of evidence that support why there are so many toppings, different flavors, and why it's so refreshing. This is where that pushing your thinking that we did before is going to come into play. A lot of you have already done some of this work. So in thinking about how this essay should be structured, I have my box, and when I look at my organizer that I have in front of me, it kind of has me fill in the blanks. So as I read and go along here, listen to what I have as some ideas. I love ice cream because there are many different flavors, there are many different toppings, and most of all, because it's refreshing on a hot day. One reason I love ice cream is that it's refreshing on a hot day. For example, I said refreshing on a hot day, but these are my flavors. So one reason I love ice cream is because there's so many different flavors. Now I need some evidence. Evidence A, There's a place called Baskin Robbins that has 31 flavors of ice cream. I also like to get frozen yogurt a lot and notice that there's tons of flavors there. And when you go to the grocery store, there are tons of different options for flavors. For example, Ben & Jerry's ice cream has some of the craziest flavors. They even let people vote in and decide new flavors for their ice cream. So I'm listing my evidence of getting some of my ideas on the page. Now I'm thinking, time to move on to my next piece of evidence. Another reason that I love ice cream is because there are so many different toppings. For example, or maybe one example is, and I'm thinking, there is this place called Cold Stone Creamery. Me and my family used to go there all of the time. Every time I went, I like to add new toppings to my ice cream. Sometimes I would put Twix in, gummy bears, gummy worms. When I go to Cold Stone Creamery, I have so many options. So there's one piece of evidence, and I'm going to think about two more. Then I follow that same process for my last bullet, my bottom here. Although one reason I love ice cream is, although I love ice cream because there are many different flavors, there are many different toppings, I especially love ice cream because it's refreshing on a hot day. For example, I remember when I was growing up and the ice cream truck would come by, I would run into the house so fast to get money because I was so hot and needed something to cool down with. Then I'll continue on with my more examples. So, boys and girls, what I want you to be focused on doing today is creating some boxes and bullets from the topic you selected yesterday. I understand that you did do some free writing yesterday and you have some ideas on the page already, but let's work on getting organized now. Let's work on getting those ideas into the right places and the right order so our essay has structure. So I would, on your essay drafting that you've already started, hit space a few times, hit enter a few times below some of your flash drafting, and start drafting some boxes and bullets. You may have to do some extra thinking and go back to your ideas to figure out, well, what would my bullets be? But your task today is to give that a shot. And you're off.